Bonjour, hello. Thank you for inviting me, and I hope you're enjoying your summer. Now, I was asked to talk about my profession. I'm a professional counselor or psychotherapist, and I'm a registered social worker. Social work is quite vast, and it can include a lot of different jobs. Mine is specifically in counseling. Why did I become a counselor? Well, in high school, a lot of people used to come to me and talk to me and ask me for help, and they would share very personal information. So I thought maybe, I thought it was quite interesting. I loved it. And so I registered into university, and I completed my bachelor's degree in psychology. And then I found out throughout those years about a training, and it was a master's degree in counseling. So I had to complete, before I registered for that program, I had to complete a 1-year certificate in theology. Now, theology and psychology are quite different. And the reason that they had that as a prerequisite is because when you start questioning things and having issues and trying to work through them, you do a lot of soul searching. And you ask very philosophical questions, and you go through a whole process. So I think it was a good base, for thinking, starting to think about those things in different ways. So it's more about the spiritual aspect than the religious aspect. So that was quite interesting. So then I did complete my master's degree. It was a 2-year program. And we had clients. We saw clients right from the beginning of the program. It was quite interesting. It was behind a mirrored glass, so that the class, the rest of my teammates and my teacher were on the other side of this glass, and we were connected. So I was connected with the teacher, and so I got to experience counseling firsthand, and I got to also see all my classmates. We were divided into small groups. It was a very small class, which was perfect for this kind of training. So we got to see other people in action too. So we got lots of experience during those 2 years. And then at that time, I decided, okay, you know how you get different jobs. Well, at that point, just before I started my master's degree, I decided, okay, I'm just going to get jobs now that are pertaining to psychology and social work. So I did that. So I was doing counseling. It was more of an intake position for the federal ministry, and we were getting calls from all over Canada for isolated healthcare workers that would need our help. And so then we would do the intake, we would deal with the crisis, and then we would direct them to counselors throughout the country. So it was quite interesting, and that was at the same time as I was doing my master's degree. So I gained a lot of experience during those 2 years, which have helped me greatly throughout my whole career. So that's important, because at one point you have to kind of focus and just put everything together and just do your profession, because you need to gain a lot of experience, right? So I completed my master's degree in marital counseling, and it was a great 2 years. I really, really enjoyed it. And then, so I never did change programs. I did take a break between my bachelor's and my master's degree, because I felt, like I said, a lot of soul searching. I felt I was young, And so I took 5 years off. In that time, I did do my 1 year of theology, so I had time to do it. It was great. And it was good. It was good to just kind of mature a little bit. I thought that was important. So basically that's my journey. And that's how it happened. What's my day like? Well, now I do different aspects of the work. So I do counseling. That's the biggest part of my job. So what does my day look like? Well, I get up, I get to work, and I have clients that come to see me. Some of them are online, especially with COVID now. Some people don't want to come in person. And the clientele I deal with, they're people that have had motor vehicle accidents. So some of them are not mobile. So sometimes I have to go visit them in their home. So there's a bit of traveling involved, especially being in Northern Ontario. We have a large territory, people everywhere. So we often have to travel. And so usually I take 1 day a week. That's when I go see my clients out of town. So the clients come in, I greet them. It's very, very important in counseling to build a rapport with the client. So to get them to feel comfortable and to trust. Trust is a big issue. So some of the work, especially at the beginning, is mostly around that. So you just find out information about them, you get them to share stuff, and they might have questions and stuff like that. So you talk. The other day my son came to my office and he says, how come you've got so many Kleenex everywhere? And well, people do cry. I mean, that's not the goal. It's not to make them cry. It's to make them understand what they're going through. And but sometimes, like I said, soul searching. Lots of emotions happen. So you have to deal with all that. So I also do a lot of relaxation, so mindfulness. So my office is set up for that with nice comfortable chairs. Lazy boy type, where you can lean back. I have soft music. The lighting is soft in my office. It's very quiet, very serene. I like it that way. I function much better that way, and it helps with the relaxation because I deal with a lot of anxiety. So it's good to have a place where they can come and feel safe, feel comfortable, feel quiet and calm. So then the clients at the end of the session, I usually ask them, what do you leave with? What did you learn today? What happened for you today? Just so that they can kind of bring that all together for themselves to leave with. I like to give homework, so I usually leave them and I say, well, you're here 1 or 1.5 hours a week, but you live with yourself 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So all the other hours of the week, you need to work on this. Therapy is not just when you're sitting in this office. It's a continual process. So I usually give them things to do. And so they leave with that. We book an appointment for the next time. So some clients are regular every week, so we know when they're coming back, but most of them we book from week to week. And then I always, so then they leave, I take a few notes, sometimes I have some reports to write, and then the other client comes in and we start all over again. Most people see clients for 50 minutes, get a 10-minute break, and then they see another client. Right now with COVID, we're stretching it out. Myself, I like to have a half an hour between clients. I feel like I can kind of regain that. But rest assured, at first, this is not how, if you choose to go in this profession, that's not how you're going to do it. You're going to do it 50 minutes, 10 minutes to write a few notes. You have to. With the college, they request that you write a few notes about the visit. and then you're off to the next client. But at this point, I choose to kind of stretch that out a little bit. So I usually see 2 clients in a half a day, and then 1 or 2 clients in the afternoon. That's my preference. But some people see up to 6 clients a day. I always send reminders. So texting is great. You send a little text, I'll see you tomorrow, whatever time, online or in person, or I'll go to your house tomorrow. So I send reminders, so that's great, and it really helps the people. Now, the other part of my job, which is more social work, is that I also work in adoptions. So that's very different. I do meet people, but I help with the facilitation of the adoption. So I help them find out their information, and then I help them to match the people that want to adopt with the mothers that will be having their babies adopted. And I do a lot of education about adoption, about attachment, about abandonment, because children often feel abandoned after they've been adopted. So there's a lot of education, and that's more social work. I travel a lot for this job because Ontario is quite large, so we deal with adoptions throughout Ontario. And then I also have to meet with the birth parents that are putting up their babies for adoption. So then there's a lot of support that needs to happen there. Education again about abandonment, about their feelings of guilt. I have to find social workers that will deal with them, because I don't want to be in a conflict of interest, because I also deal with the adoptive parents, so they have social workers specifically that work with them, and so do the adoptive parents. So I kind of just liaise everything. And then I help them out when the baby is born, help everybody meet together, and make sure things go smoothly as much as possible. So that's very interesting. That's a recent addition to my practice. And yeah, it's great. Okay, so I think I've passed my time. So I thank you very much for listening, and have a great summer. Bye-bye.